You know, when my father first started building trusses here in a manufacturing setting, everybody did trusses with wood and used plywood and cut out gussets and nailed them onto the wood, and that's how they made a truss. That first order that we delivered, the guy said, take them back, these are never going to stand up. Those little postage stamp plates are not going to hold those trusses together, and it's just not going to work. So he spent some time talking to them and convincing them it was going to be okay. And they kept them, and yes, they are still standing.
What she wants to do is a workshop below and a studio above, so we have a little bit of work ahead of us.
To manufacture a truss, the first thing we need to do is design the project, put it together, make sure that it meets all of the qualifications for state guidelines.
What's really nice is right now with the grades up high enough, we got a guy on either side walking them out, throw it up, get her nailed in place, and we're on to the next one.
Well, folks, it looks homely, it looks haggard, it looks like heck right now, but the garage has got big plans, and one of the first things is to get rid of that flat roof.
Yep, we'll go to the pitched roof and give us some more space.
So the idea is that underneath this pitched roof, we're going to finish the space as a yoga studio.
And the lower level as a workshop and a garage.
His and her.
His and her.
Yeah, we're ready for trusses.
Well, now that our foundation is all taken care of, we are ready to take this project literally to the next level by raising the walls and the roof. Dan has a couple friends here, and Kyle is back with the guy, and they're getting everything all ready to go. The room over the garage could be framed up by hand with joists, studs, and rafters, but it would take a little while to brain it out and, of course, some time to execute. So we found a place in Grantsburg, Wisconsin, where you can give them the plans, they'd do a little bit of magic, and they would pump out a set of trusses for the floor, walls, and ceiling. It's pretty interesting, so check it out.
To manufacture a truss, the first thing that we need to do is get the specs from the actual job of what it needs to be done, and then we have designers that design the project.
In today's setting, we're using a tremendous amount of computer-aided or computer-generated software. Physically, the plans are taken out. We basically do layouts directly off of the plans. And from the plans, once we've got them in here, we're able to go through, check to make sure that the structural capacities are being met, and we're meeting the code design and all the designs of the structural or the architect of record. With that, we generally can at that point insert that information into our system, set up our code designs through our computers, and basically generate trusses at that point.
Once it's designed and approved by everyone, then it goes out to the shop, sawn with our sawing department.
We have the miser saw, which does the webs for the trusses, optimizes with the cuts, makes 4 different cuts, minimizes our waste. Most of the time we'll see on a board that comes through about 4 or 5 inch waste.
It self-picks its own lumber where there's bunks of lumber, and the computer just tells it you need 6 boards of this kind of lumber, and it drops the boards into the machine and cuts them, and someone takes them off and puts them on a cart.
And then we have the Omni saw, which actually that cuts the top and bottom cord.
And then it moves into the production process. It's produced on the tables.
There we have computers online hooked into laser systems that actually make a blueprint of the truss on the tables. We have the webs, they come in separate. I have the top and bottom cords, which the bottom cords go to the bottom side of the table, the top cords go to the top side of the table. Now when the job comes in, the laser imprints the job onto the table, and it also shows imprints of the plate layout. So once they get that all set up and jigged in, then at that point there, it's, as they say, business as usual. They start pounding out the job.
To hold the trusses together, we use metal connector plates. And they are large metal plates that have very rugged teeth in them. In order to press the plates into the lumber, the production workers will tack the ends of the plate into the lumber just to hold them in place. Then a very large metal roller comes along and it rolls across the truss and partially embeds the plates into the lumber. Once it's gotten the entire truss embedded together, then the truss is actually popped up off of the table, and it runs off the end of the table and through a finish roller, it's called, and that completely embeds the plate into the material and makes it completely stable. They're banded together with steel banding to make sure that they stay together during the shipping process. They're housed out in the yard until they're ready to be delivered, at which point we load them up on trucks that are appropriate for the length and the delivery location, because some of the places that we deliver trusses, you would think it's not possible to deliver trusses there. And sometimes it's close to not possible, but our delivery team takes great pride in getting the trusses where they need to be.
All right, they've got the first few in now, and how it's working is they're lifting them up onto the walls, walking it into place, and then securing it at the corners with a couple of nails. And to make sure you have proper spacing of each truss, and to lock everything in place, they're using a couple of truss spacers, one on each side.
What's really nice is right now the grade's up high enough. We got a guy on either side walking them out, one guy in the middle, and then we got two guys sitting on the wall that's nailing everything in place. So we get it out there, throw it up, get her nailed in place, we're on to the next one.
Layout's your number one thing. Just make sure layout's correct. As long as that's done right and the truss manufacturer followed or you're following their layout, I should say, everything will go smoothly.
If you're wondering how trusses can also form a set of interior walls, take a look. You can see our two side walls starting to take shape along with our vaulted ceiling. Pretty slick.
It's great to have a big crew when we're doing something like this where we're not using a crane. All the trusses have to be hand set, and because of the peak and the vault, they're a little awkward to handle. So it's real nice to have a lot of guys out here to make sure no one gets hurt, and that helps everything fly right along.
Well, the trusses are all up, and it's definitely exciting, but we do want to keep going and get that roof covered just in case it rains.
Wow, up, boom, 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 within 45 minutes to an hour. That's no exaggeration. So it's really great to see a sense of the shape, because I've been looking at it on paper for over a year. Now, it's alive.
And that's just the beginning. There's quite a bit of work yet to do here to finish it off from top to bottom, but come back next time and see what we've come up with on HomeTime. Till then, thanks for watching. I'm Miriam Johnson.